I'm Dale Murray. I represent the United States Christian Commission, an organization that came out of the YMCA in 1861. They were a benevolent organization for the purpose of ministering to the soldiers going off to war. They would distribute Bibles and hymn books and gospel literature, but they were also a volunteer group that stayed home and waited for a telegram. Once they received that telegram, they would promise to be out the door in 5 minutes on their way to a battlefield. Wherever they were needed, they were given instructions where to go and who to see. When you joined the Christian Commission, you were given a kit. It consisted of a badge like this one here. You also received a rubber blanket, canteens, haversacks, tin cups, pails, and most important of all, a journal. They wanted every delegate to keep a daily journal of who they talked to, how they helped them, what the results were. And there were over 5,000 delegates by the end of the war serving through the YMCAs with the help of a network of 10,000 Protestant churches. Each church had a Ladies' Aid Society that would make shirts and socks for the soldiers, under apparel. This was all their accomplishments in just 4 years. Over 58,000 sermons, 77,000 prayer meetings, over 1 million Bibles given out, 18 million religious newspapers, over 1 million hymn books, 8 million knapsack books, 39 million pages of tracts. They wrote 92,000 letters home for soldiers wounded and couldn't write. And the general public contributed over $6 million during that time period through the YMCAs and the churches.
Is that 1860s?
Yes, 1860s. And notice 68 cents, they kept very good records. So they ministered in different ways and different capacities, from the battlefield to just following the armies around. This was another way they ministered here. They only built one of these. This is a coffee wagon, 108 gallons an hour, coffee, tea, or cocoa. It was not here at Gettysburg, but it was built in Philadelphia, and it followed the 5th Corps down through Virginia. And it was at Appomattox when General Lee surrendered to General Grant. Matter of fact, after the surrender, there were a couple of Confederate regiments that smelled the coffee, and they hadn't had real coffee for years. And the aroma drew them through the Union line into the Christian Commission camp. The delegates saw them coming, so they got a cup of coffee ready with their left hand, and they stretched out their right hand, welcoming them back to the Union. So they did a great work. There's not one monument to commemorate their work today. So that's kind of what we're doing. They wouldn't want a monument. This was an organization that God raised up just to show the soldiers mercy. They had just as much compassion on the Confederate wounded as they did the Union wounded. There was a young 17-year-old boy in a barn, and a delegate came in and took off his shoes and socks and just started to bathe his feet. And this young boy just started to weep and cry. And the delegate said, "Sir, am I hurting you? What's wrong?" He says, "No, sir, you're not hurting me." Started washing his feet again, and the boy started crying again. And the delegate stopped and said, "Young man, you need to tell me what's wrong, or I can't continue to serve you." And the boy said, "Well, sir, y'all call us rebels. I guess we are. We went against the dear old flag. And now you're treating us like Jesus would, and I just can't stand it. Can't stand it." So they probably did more to reconcile things with both sides with their kindness, and they're showing mercy to both sides, to the Confederates as well. So to mend things.